Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having an incredible day or night in Jesus. Thank you so much for being with us. We're looking at the Weymouth New Testament today. This is part of a series we've been doing off and on for several years now, trying to go through every Bible translation ever in English. Now, sometimes, such as today, we're not going to be able to do a real deep dive into it, so we do apologize. And so often, some of these are so off the beaten path. This one, not so much, that we're just making you aware they exist. A lot of people don't even know they exist, and you can do further research on them yourself. So thanks for being here. Do check out our other videos and share. There's a playlist with all these in here as well. So we're just going to be looking today at Wikipedia. We know Wikipedia is good, bad, ugly, whatever, depending on what you're looking at. So the Weymouth New Testament, the WNT, otherwise known as the New Testament Modern Speech or the Modern Speech New Testament, is a translation of the New Testament in 19th century English by Richard Francis Weymouth. So it was based on the text of the resultant Greek Testament. The text was produced by Weymouth. It was what resulted from his compilation of readings from Stephen's 1550, it's also known as Stephanos, Lockman, Tregelles, Tischendorf, Lightfoot, Ellicott, Alfred, Weiss, the Bale edition of 1880, Westcott and Hort, and the Revision Committee of London. Basically, almost everybody who was a textual critic in the 19th century. And even before, in some cases. Where these editions differed, Weymouth selected the reading favored by the majority of editors. So not quite a majority text. The text was prepared for final production by his secretary, Reverend Ernest Hamden Cook, after Weymouth's death in 1902. Now, I did want to say, I probably got this in hard copy somewhere in my library. And then also, I do notice it on various of the Bible conglomerations. So if you just punch in like Weymouth New Testament or Weymouth Bible, a lot of times it'll come up. So Weymouth also prepared a translation of his text with notes. His aim was to discover how the inspired writers would have expressed and described the events of the New Testament had they been writing in 19th century English. This would have been the very great time in English, matter of fact, the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle time, so to speak. The translation was edited for publication by Hamden Cook also in 1903. It was published in 1903 by Baker and Taylor Company, New York, and James Clark and Company, London. The preface to the original states that the version's intended purpose was to furnish a succinct and compressed running commentary, not doctrinal, to be used side by side with its elder compeers. So, kind of as we recommend a lot of times for newer translations, because I would say after many years of study that the King James Version is by far the most accurate translation of the Bible in English, these others can be used as commentaries. In some cases, maybe not in every case, because there's some things. But anyhow, a second edition appeared in 1904, a third in 1909. A pocket edition without notes was published in 1913. A fourth edition was revised by James Alexander Robertson and several other well-known New Testament scholars and published in 1924. Further revision published in 1929. So like so many, MEV, ESV, NIV, they're coming out with revisions. Weymouth was the same. So not every Weymouth you have may be the same. Now, if you collect Bibles, you may want to look into that. Get an original Weymouth and then an updated Weymouth and another updated Weymouth, that kind of thing. I also did want to just see who Richard Francis Weymouth was. He had an MA, Doctor of Literature, lived from 1822 to 1902. He was Baptist, English schoolmaster, Bible student, known particularly for producing one of the earliest modern language translations of the New Testament. Also, I forgot to bring that out, that at that time, one reason we're having such a difficult time doing even short reviews and looks at all the Bibles translated into English, we started way back, with the Venerable Bede and all of this, is there's so many. We're finding so many, and it seems like there's so many coming out every year, especially with Amazon. You can just come out, and it's very difficult to keep up with. So his works, Weymouth's first important work was the Zoltan Greek Testament, eclectic text based on the work of most prominent textual critics. His major publication was the Modern Speech New Testament, known as the Weymouth New Testament, edited by his secretary when I used to work at Berean. That's how we knew it. He also published a literal translation of Sinwolf's Aline from Zupitza's text in 1888, and which that's pretty interesting as well. So he was educated at the University College of London. He taught at a private school in Surrey before being appointed headmaster of Mill School in 1869 when Thomas Scruton, I wonder if that's any relation to the conservative philosopher, and his supporters formed a new trust to reopen and revive the school, which had closed the previous year. Weymouth was also a fellow of University College London from 1869, taught there in 1866. For retiring in 1891 to devote himself to textual criticism and Bible study, and he died in 1902. So he was 69 when he retired, thereabouts. So that's the Weymouth New Testament. You may want to check out more. God bless. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.